Hey, what's happening, DC Gamers with the DC Guy01, and welcome to this week's Versus episode on the Walkthrough channel. This week, it's Booker T and Big E. We had 3 birthdays this past week, beginning with Ric Flair's birthday on February 26th. He turned 75. Big E's birthday was yesterday, March 1st. He turned 38, and on that same day, March 1st, was also Booker T's birthday. He turned 59. Now, we also unfortunately had 2 passings this past week. The first one being Ole Anderson, one of the original founding members of the Four Horsemen. He passed away on February 26th at the age of 81. And then on February 28th, Virgil, the $1 Million Man's assistant, passed away at 61. Now, I know Virgil, I think his passing was due to cancer. I know that for the past year or so he's been in pretty bad shape. And if I remember correctly, it was like a few months ago that his family started like a GoFundMe or they were taking donations because, yeah, he was in pretty bad shape and, yeah, it wasn't looking good. So, he passed away a few days ago at 61. And then, of course, Ole Anderson, one of the original Four Horsemen and someone who's considered to be one of the great minds in wrestling. So probably one of the most important figures in 80s wrestling. I mean, not only was he, the original Four Horsemen, he was also a booker, promoter in WCW for years. He was the guy who Roddy Piper, his first major feud as a good guy back in Georgia Championship Wrestling before he came to WWE. He feuded with Ole Anderson. So, a very important figure in wrestling. And of course, you have Virgil as well, who, when he betrayed the $1 Million Man and aligned himself with, funnily enough, Roddy Piper, he was incredibly over. People make the joke that he was, people always make that joke of, the lonely Virgil thing where he wasn't that popular and, he tried to milk whatever popularity he had later in life and it just didn't work because he wasn't really that popular of a character. I mean, when he became a good guy and for the first time, he was over. The crowd really got behind him. I think a lot of that was because of who he was feuding with, turning on Ted DiBiase, aligning himself with Piper. I mean, the fans were behind him. He was getting huge reactions. So, just 2 unfortunate passings this past week. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about, both Raw, SmackDown, and Elimination Chamber, so let's jump right into that. Oh, right. Asuka and Kairi Sane beat Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae to defend the what am I talking about? To retain the women's tag team titles. Oh no. Oh no, you don't. Boom. Finn Balor and Damian Priest beat Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate to retain the undisputed tag team titles. Becky Lynch won the women's Elimination Chamber match. But ironically, probably the MVP of that match was Tiffany Stratton, which, yeah, that came out of nowhere. I mean, the fans were like, I think they were more behind her than anyone else. I mean, when Liv Morgan eliminated Tiffany Stratton, there were audible boos. Like, they booed Liv out the building. Like, they practically turned Liv heel for eliminating Stratton. it was a star-making performance. I mean, to her credit, she worked her butt off in that match. I mean, most of the highlights in that match were from her, so yeah, well deserved to get that reaction. And then the men's elimination chamber match, which ironically, so Drew McIntyre won. He won the match. I mean, it'll be Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for the world title. But the funny thing, it was the moments leading up to Drew winning that I think that actually spawned off a few other potential WrestleMania matches. So what I mean by that is, after being eliminated, Logan Paul came back in and attacked Randy Orton with a pair of brass knuckles, which set Randy Orton up to get eliminated by Drew McIntyre. So there's another potential match right there, Logan Paul and Randy Orton. This then brought it down to Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight. So the two of them are going at it, then all of a sudden AJ Styles comes in. Remember, he wasn't in the Elimination Chamber match, he actually lost to LA Knight for that spot. And he attacked LA Knight with a steel chair and basically just left him for Drew McIntyre to pin, which McIntyre did pin in order to win. So, well, Drew McIntyre, was dominant. He definitely got some help with those last two eliminations. So now, with this, after the men's elimination chamber match, we've got Drew versus Seth, but we've also potentially got LA Knight versus Styles, and Randy Orton versus Logan Paul. So that's two more potential WrestleMania matches we've got there. And in the main event, Rhea Ripley beat Nia Jax to retain the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, or Women's World Title. So now the four main events for the 4 world title matches for WrestleMania are Bayley versus Io Sky for the WWE Women's title, Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World title, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for the Men's World title, and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Championship. That's not a bad lineup. Not a bad lineup at all. So, moving into Raw, Sami Zayn beat Shinsuke Nakamura in one of probably his most notable win of the last few months. Ow. Raquel Rodriguez beat Chelsea Green. Imperium beat the New Day in a street fight, which was a very good street fight. Very fun. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark beat Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, trying to establish themselves as number 1 contenders for the tag titles, which they kind of already were. And the whole reason this match happened was because they basically pointed out, why did Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell get a shot when they haven't won a notable match in several months. Meanwhile, Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler have been destroying everyone. Okay. I went for my signature, but there we go. Liv Morgan and Nia Jax both faced each other. Towards the end of the match, Becky Lynch came out and attacked Nia Jax, getting revenge for Jax attacking her earlier in the show. This resulted in a DQ win for Nia, and Liv did not look happy, looking very upset at Becky Lynch for costing her a potential victory. And it's interesting because, one of the big stories going into the Elimination Chamber match was Liv, wanting to win so that then she could challenge Rhea and get revenge on Rhea for being the one who put her out of action. which is still a story that WWE is seemingly going with. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. And who knows, maybe it might actually lead to something happening at WrestleMania. We'll have to see. And in the main event, Cody Rhodes beat Grayson Waller. Afterwards, Paul Heyman came out with several bodyguards and basically threatened Cody Rhodes, who did not take kindly to it, taking out the bodyguards and standing tall to close out the show. So, another thing that happened on Raw, which was interesting, was basically Gunther came out and basically did the classic thing of there's no one left to challenge him for the Intercontinental title. There's no one left to challenge him. He's beaten everyone. This led to the Judgment Day coming out. And Gunther's like, okay, which one of you is going to challenge me? Is it going to be you, Priest? Is it going to be you, Balor? Is it going to be JD McDonough? Then Dominic Mysterio steps forward. And basically he's the one who, without really saying it, he's the one challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental title, apparently at WrestleMania. I don't know if this will actually be happening at Mania or if it'll happen on free TV in the weeks leading up to it. I mean, if it is, they better get to this quick, because WrestleMania is only a few weeks away now. Ow. Oh no. Well, no. Ow. Oh no. So, moving on to SmackDown. The opening segment of the show, which took up the first probably quarter of it, was a promo involving the Bloodline, where The Rock basically did most of the talking. Again, feeding into this idea that he's the, even though they're not saying it, he's the real leader of the Bloodline, and Reigns is basically just having to step back and watch as The Rock basically is in charge. But the big thing to come out of this promo was The Rock challenging Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins to a tag team match for night one of WrestleMania, saying it'll be Cody and Seth versus The Rock and Roman Reigns. And the winner of that match gets to decide the stipulation for the Undisputed Championship match on night two. If Cody and Seth win the match, then the Bloodline will be barred from ringside during the world title match. If Roman Reigns and The Rock win, then it's Bloodline rules. They get to make the stipulation, and basically anything goes. It'll be an anything goes match. Bloodline is allowed to be involved. That kind of thing. Now, this was just a challenge. This match isn't official yet, but based off of the, a lot of the advertisements, including that big Super Bowl commercial for WrestleMania, this seems to be the direction WWE is going to end up going in, having a tag match to determine, the stipulation. And this was something I mentioned when that Super Bowl commercial first aired, kind of talking about the implications of why were they so heavily focusing on having Cody and Seth on one side, The Rock and Roman Reigns on another side. Well, now we know. Now, the interesting thing, the question now is, will this be the main event of night one? Because normally what they do is they have one world title match on night one and the other world title match on night two. But with this, I mean, that would mean they're expecting Seth to pull double duty, wrestle in the tag match and then wrestle, in the main event, or at some other point during that night. So it'll be interesting to see if they just have both women's world title matches be night one, along with this match. And then have the two men's world title matches be the co-main events of night two. We'll have to see what they decide to go with there. Oh no. No. Ow, my leg. No. Okay, I'm going in here. Oh, scissor kick. There we go. Boom. Sorry, Biggie. Sorry about your neck. There we go. Harlem hangover. Alright, now kick out. There you go. Now where's my... How do we do the bookend? Okay. Alright, come on. Ooh, boom. Close the book, it's over. Continuing with SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton beat Naomi. It's kind of unfortunate to see Naomi lose so much this early into her return. I mean, I think she's lost every match so far, other than like her return match. I don't even remember if she won that. But, you know, after the reaction that Tiffany Stratton got in Elimination Chamber, I think WWE sees a future star in her, so it makes sense to try to capitalize on it. Probably the big match that that people will be talking about coming out of SmackDown. I mean, the promo is going to be the main thing, but the one match that people will be talking about will be Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Bayley and Dakota Kai in a tag team match. Because towards the end of the match, Dakota Kai turned on Bayley, dropping from the apron, leaving Bayley to get beaten down by Io Sky and Asuka. After the match ended, Dakota Kai and Io Sky came in to continue beating down on Bayley with the Kabuki Warriors. So now Bayley's going into WrestleMania with no allies whatsoever. Which raises the question, because wasn't like last week that Dakota Kai got attacked backstage, and they didn't say exactly who did it, but the implication was that it was, you know, Damage Control. So I don't know what's exactly going on here, but we'll have to see. Or maybe the implication was it was Bayley. Well, I don't know. Now, after seeing this, we'll have to see. Braun Breaker crushed Zion Quinn. And just as squash match can get. Carlito beat Santos Escobar in a street fight. Gained assistance from Rey Mysterio, who made his return to action, fighting off Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. And in the main event, Randy Orton beat Austin Theory. After the match, Randy Orton and Austin Theory continued to beat down on Austin Theory. Wait, did I say Orton and Theory? Randy Orton and Kevin Owens continued to beat down on Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Close out the show. So, not a great main event. It was fun for what it was. Yeah, the two moments that people are going to be talking about is the Bloodline segment and Dakota Kai turn on Bayley. But you know what? Now you can tell WWE's now in the phase where now it's just adding to the WrestleMania card, adding to the stories, which there's a lot to talk about this past week. Alright, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm making videos all the time. Stay tuned for next week's Versus, and next week we'll continue our LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham walkthrough. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of Elimination Chamber, Raw, and SmackDown. Who do you think is going to end up challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental title? Do you really think it's going to be Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania? I don't know. I'm still pulling for Chad Gable. Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed. Guy01 and Booker T signing out. Bye, guys.